What's up, guys? Welcome back to Chiefs Chat. Today we're doing the Chiefs versus Raiders game preview. Now, before we get into the game, I want to talk about Damar Hamlin, and I want to talk about some good news that has recently come out about his health. Thankfully, it looks as if he is starting to get, back on his feet, I mean, not literally, but, it's looking like things are going well for Damar, which is just very good news to hear. It looks like he is speaking with his teammates, his family members. He has woken up. He has been breathing on his own, which is just great to hear. So that is something that we should all keep in mind. That's something that we should all be celebrating. We should all be happy about. We should still be aware of the fact that there's a long way to go for Damar, but we can at least celebrate this good news, knowing that he's able to breathe on his own. He's able to speak with the people that are closest to him. So that's number one priority. That should be the first thing on everybody's minds here. Damar Hamlin, just hoping and praying, as is everybody, hoping and praying for a full recovery. So with that being said, let's get into this game against the Raiders, and I do believe we're going to win. I mean, week 18, okay, final week of the regular season, and I just think similar to the game against the Broncos, I think the Raiders right now are in a situation where it's just kind of a dumpster fire over there. A couple of weeks ago, Derek Carr was benched for Jared Stidham, which is not ideal. That definitely tells you something about the way that things are going over there in Las Vegas. And I haven't talked about it much on camera, but I think Josh McDaniels is one of the worst head coaches to ever become an NFL head coach. I think it's ridiculous what Josh McDaniels is doing right now, because Derek Carr, to me, obviously not a huge Raiders guy, not a huge fan of the Raiders, not a huge fan of Derek Carr because of that. But one thing I've always respected about Derek Carr is he just puts everything into that football team. He puts his heart and soul into that football team. I've heard so much about how, he just knows that organization is it's always going to be his. It's always going to be the organization that he holds nearest and dearest to his heart. And I think Josh McDaniels, a guy, I mean, what is this Derek Carr's sixth head coach in his NFL career? I just think that shows that alone shows that Derek Carr is a guy who's used to sudden changes within the Raiders organization, but still being able to go out there and be that guy for them. He's been not top tier, but he's been okay. He's been a solid, I would say franchise quarterback. Call me crazy. I think he is on that level. I think he is a guy, and he's proven that he's a guy who could stick with an organization, put the team on his back, and lead them to some pretty solid wins. Derek Carr, unfortunately, he's never won a playoff game, but I do believe in him as a quarterback, honestly. Again, not a Raiders guy, not a Derek Carr guy, because of the fact that I'm not a Raiders guy, but I can respect the quarterback. And I do respect the quarterback. But who I don't respect is Josh McDaniels, because I think the situation over there, I'm not in the locker room, I'm not the GM, I'm not in the front office, but I'm just speculating that this has something to do with Josh McDaniels and his ego being fragilely hurt. I just, call me crazy, okay? I think Josh McDaniels is a little bit of a weenie, okay? Because I think what's happening here is that Josh McDaniels, he's had such a poor season with the Raiders that he's looking at Derek Carr and he's saying, maybe I can put the blame on him. Maybe what I can do is I can put in, our backup quarterback. And, if we're able to do some things, if we're able to win a couple of games, then maybe people won't be blaming me for this terrible Raiders season. Maybe people will then be blaming Derek Carr, which I think is just so messed up. Derek Carr has been a guy who's just, again, he's put the organization on his back. He has lived and died for that organization. I mean, he does everything for the Raiders organization. And then Josh McDaniels comes in and he just throws him under the bus like that. I just think it's ridiculous, Again, this is all speculation, but I just feel like that is what's happening right now with the Raiders, because at that point, it's just like, why? What is the point? What's the real reason, why Derek Carr can't at least finish out the season with the Raiders? If you're not going to re-sign him in the offseason, fine, but at least let him finish out the season. I just find it ridiculous, This is a team, coming into this season, they had a lot of expectations. They were a team that people looked at as possibly making the playoffs. A lot of people said, oh, they'll win the AFC West. We all knew that was baloney, but, here we are. Okay, but they've fallen short of those expectations, and I think it's 100% Josh McDaniels' fault. And I think what he's trying to do is try to throw the blame on somebody else, which I just find absurd. But I think we're gonna teach him a lesson here in his hopefully final game as an NFL head coach. I think Josh McDaniels is terrible. There's absolutely no excuse for him. Okay, he was given Derek Carr. Again, not a top tier guy, but a solid quarterback. He was given Devontae Adams. Some would argue the best wide receiver in football. He's got Josh Jacobs, one of the best running backs in football. He had Hunter Renfrow, a guy who showed a lot of potential last season. He had Darren Waller, a top 5 tight end in the NFL, maybe top 3 if you want to go there. Okay, they signed Chandler Jones, one of the most dominant pass rushers, over the past few seasons. Okay, I mean, Max Crosby's on the team. You've got so many pieces on this organization. I mean, it's just there's no excuse at that point. There's no excuse for doing poorly. You've got everything you could possibly need. You've got all the pieces of the puzzle. All you got to do is put it together, make that puzzle. But Josh McDaniels was not able to do that, and I think he's just being a baby about it. I think that's what's happening. So, I think the Chiefs, we're gonna go in there and just shut his career down. Hopefully that's what happens. Patrick Mahomes, just go in there, put the nail in the coffin. Let's finish the job. Let's just get this thing over with. Roll into the playoffs. I'm excited. I'm really excited about the playoffs. AFC, the playoff seeding is a bit strange this season. I'll get more into that in future episodes, but for now it is looking like the Chiefs will have the first round bye in the playoffs. So I don't really know how to feel about it. It's just tough. Everything that's happened, it's hard for me to really, I haven't even really thought about, whether or not I should be happy, should be sad. I just think, honestly, upon first glance, it's just kind of like here you go, Chiefs, here's the first seed, which doesn't really make me feel good, because the Bills, they were in prime position to secure that number 1 seed. At the end of the day, the Bills have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs. So, yeah, it's looking like we are going to secure the number 1 seed, but I don't feel great about it. I really don't. And I just know if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, it's going to be Mickey Mouse season for the Chiefs. That's what it's going to be. The memes are going to come. People are going to make fun of us. That's just how it's going to be. But, it is what it is. So, what can you really do? But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next Chiefs chat. Peace out.